as always, we'll get right into it. I'm thinking you and I can talk about the art of redating. Do we do it? Do we not do it? What's our feelings? Have we done it in the past? And we will give our audience some advice from our perspectives.
Let's have at it. Oh
Let's.
my gosh.
Welcome to Heartbreak to Healed podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Baptiste from Rejected Hearts Club.
And I'm your host, Sophie Delcour with Healing Soul Spiritual Center.
And we do the heartbreaks
so you can heal.
So I've always been the type with all my girlfriends, my guy friends, whenever they're even thinking an inkling of, I think I want to get back with an ex, I'm immediately like, X signs up. Absolutely not.
Yes.
There's a reason why you guys broke up. Why would you put yourself back in a situation that you already know ended? So where are we at with this?
Oh my God. I 100% agree.
Okay.
Now, I would say my only exception is, let's say you dated somebody in high school, somehow ran into them like 20 years later. All right, that's a couple of decades worth. That person's not the same person anymore at all.
Right.
So if it's something like super massive, all right, I'll give you a pass. But I know very, 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 very few people that have had that situation.
So if you're saying, you know, very few people that have had that situation, then what are the odds or the statistics of somebody that has redated and it actually working out?
That is also slim to none. Here's the reason why. And this is literally from witnessing so much stuff. And this is even can sometimes climb into friendships a little bit, not just romantic partners. That's one thing I've definitely have noticed. Friends aren't so bad. Obviously, you don't have that kind of connection as you would with somebody you're seeing like that. It's just, it is different, but God, you have to remember that most of the time when people go back and redate, they're regretting something. They're regretting something because they were insecure about something. That means if they were insecure about something, there's something they fear. And typically, that is going to be the fear of being alone, not being able to trust themselves, allowing themselves to be gullible for false hope. There's so many factors that lead into that.
It's a combination of false hope and not wanting to be lonely. So it's the comfort of, I've already been in a relationship with this person, and it's the what if, or it's the thoughts of, we never had closure. So since the door is still open, let's give this another shot because I don't want to be lonely. I already know how we work together or how we weren't working together. Let's try to fix things.
Yes.
And you end up in the same cycle again, and a lot worse, where you could have had a friendship with this ex and now it's worse because you tried something again and things went haywire.
I have to say, I allowed a round 2 once in my life. And you want to know when that happened? Freaking high school. And I learned my lesson real quick. Like real quick. Didn't waste my time after that one.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. You'll have to tell me if you've allowed it before for yourself or not. and what that was like. But literally, it was this guy that I saw, very strange character when I was like freshman. He was a year or two older than me and went to a different high school, but
Mhm.
he was very, very weird, but it made him very interesting.
I like that.
And so I'm all about, I need eclectic sometimes. What's
Yes.
strange? Tell me what's weird about you. Like that, I like that. Now, if the weird doesn't jive, then obviously it's not gonna jive. But
Are
tell
you
me what,
weird? Let's date.
yeah, let's show me your weirdness. So he ended up being a little too weird. We'll say a little too weird. It didn't work out. Then I tried again. It was like, what was it, my junior year or senior year?
Mhm.
Something like that. I honestly can't even remember how we reconnected. It was, I mean, but high school, whatever, right? So I
Right.
literally tried this and I got 2 weeks in. No, no, it was a big no, like not even gonna have this malarkey for nothing.
That
And,
makes
and
sense.
that was like an immediate lesson of do not redate. You broke up for a
Mhm.
reason.
Mhm. Mhm.
Never looked back. And I'll tell you what, every single friend of mine that has done that and done it again comes back to me with some weird, messed up stories about what's going on
Right.
right now. And it's all just same shit, different day.
Exactly what you said. It's because the feeling of loneliness, non-closure situations, and it's that comfort level of this is exactly
Yes.
who I know and I wanna stay with them. But again, you broke up for a reason, period.
All right. What about you? Have you ever allowed it just once?
I can honestly say no. And because I've been queen of relationships and breakups and things like that, that I feel like I've been pretty mindful, even from a young age, of what I wanted, what I didn't want. I
Hmm.
can tell you that one of my first real boyfriends, and the one that I basically started Rejected Hearts Club for slash with or whatever,
Yeah.
because of, excuse me, he's one that because it was such a random, unexpected breakup of we're going out on a date downtown Austin at a hotel, and then we're outside, and all of a sudden he's like, I can't do this anymore because I can't give you what I know that you want slash deserve, and I need to work on me. And here's a waitress that's like, hi, would you like more lemonade? And I'm like devastated, crying. He's the one person at that time that within a certain period of time, within a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month, if he'd be like, psych, Jamie, I'm just kidding, let's get back together, I probably would have said yes because I was so shocked by, holy crap, this is my first like real breakup that I
Yeah.
didn't have any control or say within, that I
Hmm.
probably would have been like, okay, that just really didn't happen. It was just a dream. But in hindsight, if I would have went back, it wouldn't have worked out because regardless, he was never ready. And even to this day, he's never even really dated anybody else after me because I'm amazing. Check my dating Yelp reviews, just saying.
Yes.
He's never married or really been in anything super serious or committed after me.
Hmm.
So it wouldn't have worked out regardless years later. And then a boyfriend after that, like, hell no. There's a reason, like, and again, I can be friends with all of my exes. There's no bad blood, no bad beef, nothing like that.
Hmm.
There's just our time was amazing together, and then when it ended, and it sucked, but
Hmm.
I always move forward 10 times over, and I'm always the girl that it's like after we break up, I want you looking at me like, "Damn, why did I let that one go?" So,
Yep.
I'm always gonna upgrade myself.
Oh my God, I love it.
So, no, but you mentioned something really good about basically friendship redating.
Mhm.
That's actually, now that you're saying that and I'm thinking back on some of my friendships, when my personality is, when I'm in something, no matter what it is, I am 1,000% committed,
Yeah.
especially with friendships. When I feel betrayed or a trust is broken within a friendship,
Mhm.
if a friend comes back to me, if that's been some disconnect, it would honestly be hard for me to dive back in the way that we were because something
Oh,
was let go. So I think for me, a friendship redating thing would be harder because you, in a friendship, you're giving your all and you're telling all your secrets. And I don't, that's a really good, that's
mhm.
interesting. That's very interesting.
I that I honestly I haven't been able to do either. And it's because that same dynamic,
Mhm.
especially if the person was somebody you had considered your best friend,
Yeah.
then that is right. Even though it's slightly different to me, that's like right in line with a significant other because you trust them with
With
everything.
everything, more so where it's like you
Yeah.
consider them family, you know?
Yes. And and the closer you are, the more it hurts, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to just really, be smart. I mean, if you're ever going to try something like that, at least with friends, there are those boundaries. You can set those boundaries.
Mhm.
And there was one I kind of, had tried to rekindle, but here's the other thing that also makes it hard. We're grown. Oh my gosh, once you're not a kid anymore, life gets crazy in all
Mhm.
different aspects. And so, you know, we kind of tried, we made plans, but they kept falling through
Right.
because she and I, we had stuff to do and our own lives to live, and it was a broken friendship. Then, so what's worth the effort? What's worth the effort? Especially when life itself, it keeps pulling you away. I mean, that would have to have been, something that was crazy special to try to do it again, but is
Mhm.
it worth it? I don't know, because usually when there is a friendship breakup, it's something ugly as well.
I
That,
know.
and especially because at least with like partners, and especially if you live with them, it's very common for a lot of little things to add up and then maybe a couple major things and then poof,
Right.
bomb explodes and it doesn't work,
Right.
right? But that is very different when it's day in and day out, constant, 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 especially when you live with each other. With a friend, you don't have that. You typically, unless you're roommates, but even still, that has a certain dynamic that's not the same because you're not going to be sharing the same bed and
Mhm.
being intimate like a relationship or anything like
Mhm.
that. But, you know, is it is it worth it? Is it worth it? Because regardless, if you take a step back, every individual has been an ex girlfriend, boyfriend, or any gender you identify with has been an ex of some sort, right? Just like anybody else out
Mhm.
there. They've been a friend to as anybody else that's been out there. They're just another person.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Is it worth your energy? Or do you just move on with life? Because like in my thought process, because of all of this, no matter what was going on with the relationship, kind of relationship or anything like that, that person was moved out of your life for a reason. Whether
Yeah.
you did the breaking up or they did, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That part actually doesn't matter in this concept. That person was moved out of your life path for a reason.
Yeah.
So why are you going to reintroduce?
Because you're still reaching for that same feeling that you originally had with this friendship or relationship. And I can speak from a lot of personal experiences in that regard, but recently I was with a best friend of mine in Texas, and I love having friendships where you can call me out on my shit, like, because I'll learn from that. So we were
Yeah.
talking and he was basically like, well, Jamie, he's like, since I've known you for 18 years and it seems like you can eliminate somebody really quickly. And I thought about that and I said, a lot of the times when you know me to do that, you don't understand the dynamics of when I eliminate people out of my life. I said it's because for years I've built strong relationships. And when I'm in a strong relationship, friendship, any kind of relationship, then once I feel like I'm the one who put in all of the effort and I give a bunch of chances, then once something's broken, I've hit top tier of I've had enough. And so I weigh out my options of, is this person better in my life or are they better? Am I better without them in my life? Can I still love them and respect them? Sure. But if I keep exuding all this effort for other people and nothing is in return, that's not a friendship or anything. I'm not going to keep putting forth years of effort with minuscule effort on the other end. Even if that's a business relationship, a friendship, a family member, it's not just a quick decision of, 5 seconds later, somebody made me upset for something so small. No, it's probably been years of buildup. And then it's like, okay, now I need to make this decision.
Yeah.
Does it suck? Yeah. I have two friends that I really wish that we were still talking that just randomly ended. And so the question of, do you redate friends? It's like I'd have to think about that because I don't want to be ghosted or something without my knowledge if we haven't had a conversation of if something was bothering them or whatever, when I
Yeah.
have put in 99.9% of the effort. So it feels like.
Yes. And it's hard, but it's the same concept though when it comes to, how much do people really change, especially when you already have an established treatment towards one another.
Wow.
Most people don't, and whether or not it's romantic or platonic, it doesn't really matter because this is about human beings being social, period, and whether or not we change.
Right.
And most people, when it comes to, you know, when it comes to personality stuff, they're not changing. It takes a lot. I've seen it, but not very much. Um, and if that's something that's not commonly, that's not common like that, then why would you expect them to be able to suddenly treat you differently?
Both parties have already enabled the relationship, and that's what the relationship is.
Here's a concept for you too. So let's say you go ahead and allow for it and you're expecting somebody to change to treat you better. Okay, let's flip that. Let's go to the other person's perspective. If they are willing to change, what is the likelihood that they're changing out of fear now?
I know.
And they're going to now live or communicate with you or hang out with you or whatever dynamic is by walking on eggshells.
Eggshells, yeah. And then
Now,
you feel
how
like
is
an
that fair?
asshole.
Yeah, like what? So now you go from, from kind of one opposite to this, and it's just like what?
So nobody
It's not
wins.
healthy.
Nobody
No,
wins
it's
unless
not.
you have phenomenal communication with each other with boundaries. That's like, hey, here's why I was upset, or here's why I cut you off, or whatever. How can we meet in the middle? But odds are, again, that relationship or that dynamic, it's not going to be what it was because something was broken along the way.
That's what's really hard. And I know from my end of it, we've only got one friend, that there was a genuine change. But for example, This poor guy went through and had a very long-term relationship for many years that affected him in a very negative way.
Mhm.
And so this is why relationship stuff is still very important. It
Mhm.
affected obviously every aspect of his life, how he socialized, how he dealt with other people, how he dealt with difficult situations, and the way in which he handled that stuff. And because of the stress he was feeling at home, it was dispersed out to others. So you remove that factor, he's now very happily married. Him and his new wife are amazing. Um, he's literally a completely different man. And honestly, this is somebody that, my husband and I were unsure at first when we heard that there were changes, because of the fact that for both of us, we have seen consistencies in people having problems throughout their lives, not
Mhm.
really much change.
Mhm.
So why should we believe that?
Mhm.
But when it came down to it, no, this was actually the one genuine thing, but it was because the one primary factor that was causing that much undue stress on him was removed. And now he could just be him and not be the guy walking on eggshells. Did you hear that, guys? He was no longer the guy walking on eggshells. So it is never good for somebody to walk on eggshells and change themselves
Mhm.
to fit somebody's concept.
Mhm.
Even if that concept would fix the relationship, that's all a whole controlling manipulation issue.
Yeah.
So this is why, if the universe removes someone from your life, accept it. Accept it.
And know that it's okay. Know that
Yeah.
it's okay. And know, again, like, you can sit and be sad and all that, but there's always a light at the end of a dark tunnel. We've all been there. We all have our own struggles. But
Mhm.
when that light hits you, it is bright and it's amazing, and you come out on the other side, and it's so good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, think of it too. Like, if you go through, the typical breakup, and it was causing you a lot of stress, that
Mhm.
lift off of your shoulders is going to be insane. You'll literally feel like a feather. So, why would you want to carry that weight again? Because more than likely, 99.9%, you're going to carry that weight again. So you're like, are you asking to be a victim? Is there something in your past that needs to be dealt with? What are you scared of when it comes to moving on?
Mhm.
Let's address those things, because you as an individual is still most important. And you being your authentic self, people are loving that phrase as of right now. And gosh dang it, there's some validity to it. If you're being your authentic self, then the right people come into your lives, and you actually won't have to deal with this. A conversation like we're having, this type of podcast would not exist
Yeah.
if you just be your authentic self and attract the right people in your life.
Be you. Mic drop.
Yeah, it's the truth.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice, though. If you're ever in a situation that you find yourself considering whether you should take an ex back, whether that ex is an ex partner, an ex friend, you need to ask yourself, why are you considering it? And if be honest with yourself, don't do silly excuses. All right. You've got to figure your own crap out, sort of thing. But
Mhm.
if it really comes into where you're like, well, I think he or she might have been like this, or maybe things are better, you need to ask, why are you giving yourself false hope? Because it's immediately related to something that you're fearing.
Yeah.
So use that as a tool to see what you're fearing now and get better. Once you get better, then go ahead and address the situation.
False hope is also key. It's literally false hope.
Yeah. Well, here's a funny concept. We'll call this semantics, but it's fun. I don't like the word hope anymore.
Okay.
And I even needed that word, by the way, around Christmas with what was going on with me. So
Mm-hmm.
full disclosure, because I feel like that people need to talk about this more because of the reality of the situation. I miscarried my very first pregnancy that I've been waiting for 17 years. It was crushing. I still cry to this day sometimes because it's my grieving process.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that word hope was needed. But when I look back and I think about that, and I think about the real connotations around that word, I actually don't like the word because it just innately brings in that falsehood. Hope owns fear. Hope still allows for fear versus using the word belief or faith. There's no room for fear in those, right? So consider that. And the reason why I also bring this up is because of the fact that especially media, social media, things we watch on TV, how we converse with one another, what we're told by other people about the meanings of words. Words are powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful. They're spellbinding when it comes down to it. We don't recognize it as such commonly, in the mundane world that doesn't even make sense, that speech and words are nothing more than a tool for us to communicate and be able to live amongst a civilization. But in reality, it's producing energy, vibrations, setting intentions, and will manifest. When you're hoping somebody will be a certain way or hoping a situation will turn out a certain way, you are automatically allowing there to be failure as an option.
Wow.
But if
Yes.
you believe something, when you believe it, and listen to motivational speakers, people that have, that are of like elite minds and stuff like that are on there. They got really wonderful, that extremely successful people, extremely loving people that are known for their stuff. You will hear them talk about belief and goals. You actually don't as often hear them talk about hope or dreams, because hope and dreams allow for failure.
Yes. Yep.
So if you're hoping somebody will suddenly be a good partner or a good friend, you're basically asking to fail.
Wow. I'm going to carry that with me for some personal stuff in my life with the hope scene.
Mm-hmm.
So that I like that a lot because like you said, that leaves room for failure.
Yeah.
1,000% because you're hoping one way or another, but one way or another also can be the negative of things never happening in the way that you want versus I believe that XYZ is going to happen. So more so somebody's mind is going to go more towards a positive direction.
You and I have talked, and I've used the phrase brain training a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you consume, information, pictures, somebody talking, anything through your senses, that's consumption of some sort of data that has to go through your brain. That alone is why words are so important, because words are audio consumption. And it's something that it has such a massive impact when it comes to language, because now it has the ability to produce feelings, to produce images, to produce memories. That's how powerful they are.
Mm-hmm.
That I can say the word blueberry. You just tasted it, you saw it, you can feel it, even down to the, when you get a ripe one, the mushiness when you eat it, right? But an example of, I say, don't think of an elephant. What'd you just do?
Exactly.
Right. It's brain training.
Yep.
And our brains don't understand negating terms either. No, not, has not, that sort of thing. Our brains don't consume that. They just think of elephant, like what you just did. So
Yep.
your brain is literally trainable. So that is why the little semantics are actually still very important. So if you're hoping
Right.
a relationship will be a certain way, you've just trained yourself to already accept that it will fail.
Wow. I agree with that. I agree. So, people in our comments, one, let us know if you guys have ever redated. And two, I'm so curious and nosy. Share the tea and let us know if it actually worked out, because Sophie and I are on here basically giving you reasons to basically not do it. So I would be interested to see if somebody had hope and the hope went in the positive direction. So,
Yes, I like it.
me too. This is so fun. Always thank you for your insights, because you just taught me something that I'm so going to carry that with me. So thank you.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
I'm carrying it
And
with me.
I'm glad. That makes this the bestest ever then.
Yay! So, as always, you guys, thank you so much for listening, and leave us some comments. Do not forget to subscribe below, and we will see you guys next time.